Hi, my name is Lizzie Casciola, and I'm a research scientist at HERC, the Houston Education Research Consortium, which is a research practice partnership between Rice University and 11 public school districts in the Houston area. Today, I'm going to present results from our long-term English learner study examining whether timing of reclassification was associated with changes in absenteeism from 6th through 10th grade. A long-term English learner, or LTEL, is an English learner who enters Texas public schools in first grade and does not reclassify as English proficient after 5 years, when most students begin middle school. Previous results from HERC have found that compared to English learners who reclassified in elementary school, LTELs had lower math and reading scores in middle school, were less likely to take advanced coursework in middle school, and were less likely to graduate on time. To build off of these findings, this presentation focuses on an outcome related to school engagement, specifically absenteeism. The research question under investigation is if timing of reclassification was associated with changes in absenteeism from 6th through 10th grade. By timing of reclassification, we are referring to the grade band that an English learner student reclassified as English proficient, specifically elementary school, middle school, high school, or never reclassified. By changes in absenteeism, we are examining changes in the rates of absenteeism, or the percent of school days not present in each school year from 6th through 10th grade. To preview our findings, we saw that absenteeism increased at a similar rate for all students in middle school. However, after middle school, absenteeism increased more for ELs who had not reclassified before high school. By 10th grade, ELs who reclassified in high school or never reclassified missed an additional week of school than their peers. In this study, we followed 4 cohorts of EL students who began first grade in Texas public schools between 2007 and 2010, and went on to attend middle school in 10 Houston area school districts. We followed these cohorts for 10 years when most of the students would have completed 10th grade. Our analyses examined change in absenteeism rates from 6th through 10th grade, comparing never ELs and ELs who reclassified in elementary, middle, high school, or never reclassified. We also considered important student, campus, and district factors. Of the 167,808 students in this sample, 42% of these students began first grade as English learners. 67% of these students were economically disadvantaged, and over half, or 56% of these students were Hispanic, 20% were Black, 17% were white, and 7% were Asian or another race or ethnicity. Of the 42% of students who began first grade as English learners, almost 60% of them reclassified in elementary school. 18% of these students reclassified in middle school, and 23% reclassified in high school or never reclassified. Together, this indicates that 41% of ELs in this sample went on to become LTELs. As previously mentioned, we examined changes in absenteeism rates while considering several important factors. These include several student demographic factors and prior schooling experiences, important campus factors based on the schools they attended during these years, and the district that the student attended in middle school. Now for our results. In this graph, we have 4 lines representing ELs who reclassified in elementary school, never ELs, ELs who reclassified in middle school, and ELs who reclassified in high school or never reclassified. Each line shows their absenteeism rates at each grade and how they changed over time. All 4 lines show a similar upward trend in 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. In other words, all students experienced similar increases in absenteeism from 6th through 8th grade, regardless of timing of reclassification. In 6th grade, students averaged between 2.9 and 3.5% days absent, which translates to missing 5 to 6 school days during that school year. After 8th grade, absenteeism rates continue to increase. However, for ELs who reclassified in high school or never reclassified, absenteeism rates increased more, as represented in the dark gray line. By 10th grade, students in this group showed different rates of absenteeism than their peers. ELs who reclassified in elementary or middle school, as well as never ELs, averaged between 5.8 and 6.4% days absent, which translate to missing 10 to 12 school days during that school year. In contrast, ELs who reclassified in high school or never reclassified averaged 8.2% days absent, which translate to missing 15 days of school during that school year. To summarize our results, absenteeism increased at a similar rate for all students in middle school. After middle school, absenteeism increased more for ELs who had not reclassified before high school. This trend remained after accounting for factors that are directly related to absenteeism, such as previous absenteeism, student mobility, and fifth grade reading achievement. By 10th grade, ELs who reclassified in high school or never reclassified missed an average of 15 days or 3 weeks of school in that school year. In contrast, ELs who reclassified in elementary or middle school, as well as never ELs, missed an average of 10 to 12 days or about 2 weeks of school in that school year. In other words, ELs who did not reclassify before high school missed an additional week of school than their peers. Given this trajectory, this increase in absenteeism was likely to continue in 11th and 12th grade. These findings lead to some important reflections. After 8th grade, what contributes to the steep increase in absenteeism for ELs who have not yet reclassified? Could this finding be related to the previous finding that ELs who did not reclassify before high school were more likely to drop out? In addition, an important implication of these results is that reclassification in middle school is still important and needs to be prioritized as it protects ELs from experiencing this additional increase in absenteeism. For next steps in the LTEL study, we have several additional research questions under examination, including how timing of EL reclassification is associated with the emergence of disciplinary actions. What is the average time of reclassification for ELs, and how do these patterns of reclassification differ by student factors? And finally, what are early warning indicators of becoming LTEL? Specifically, what factors at early grades are most predictive of an EL becoming LTEL? Thank you so much for joining me as I present the latest results from the LTEL study. Please do not hesitate to contact me, Lizzie Casciola, at the email address on the screen. We look forward to presenting new results from this study shortly.